Okay, great. Before we have to close up, I want to get into your website a little bit, ruggedrider.com. Again, the link is on SideStandUp. I was impressed with some of the information you have there. Tell us when you got into this business end of running a website, and what was your motivation for that?
Well, I'll tell you, Pat, in 2007, I was still an at-home mom to my little guys who were 5 and 3 at the time. I hadn't worked in a while. I was kind of itching to get going again. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I got my dual sport bike in 2007, and the first thing I wanted to put was a rack on the back to carry daily stuff around. I didn't like anything out there, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to design my own. So I went to the local hardware store, got some rubber tubing, irrigation tubing, used my favorite hot glue gun, got some plexiglass, and just pieced it together after drawing something out. And I liked what I saw. I ended up hiring an engineer to draw up some plans for it. I found a great manufacturer here in Burbank, so it's made in the USA, and I went into mass production. And I formed a corporation. I said, I need a website. It needs to be catchy, and I want it to be a destination site, so I wanted to include information that people could really walk away with being educated. So I used about 6 to 8 months gathering info for the site, and I found some amazing information out there to build, my tips and tricks section, my toolkit section that I have that Tim Hilsamer, this amazing, experienced writer, put together just a comprehensive toolkit like you could not imagine. So I have it in a table where you can get the tools, what they're good for, everything. So, and I have an Amazon store on the site that sells all sorts of dual sport and adventure riding gear and parts and accessories, and from electronics to camping gear. You can get it there all in one site instead of searching all over the Amazon not knowing where to find it. So it's kind of handy.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on your site. If you kind of get lulled looking into the first page of that, and then as you start hitting the little tabs and find all the information, it's quite extensive.
Oh, that's neat. I
think one of the highlights, both for you and obviously for the DRZ riders right now, is your I call it 2 custom design products. It's kind of 3 if you think about it, but you have the rack, which you already mentioned, but that's actually you made that in 2 stages. You've got a regular round town rack, and you've got a long distance camping rack, and they interface together. And then the bash plate that you came up with, that I'm assuming is your design also.
It is, both of them. And my 2-in-1 cargo rack, I have the sport rack that hugs the line for the fender.
Sport rack, that's what you call it, yeah. Okay.
And it goes into the seat mounts and the toolkit mounts under the fender. Really rugged, really sturdily built, made of steel. And then you have the adventure rack that wraps around that, and to carry the larger adventure loads. So it's been a neat rack, and it's been received really well. And I just designed my skid plate that just hit the market. I wasn't thrilled with all the bash plates and skid plates out there for the DRZ, so I kind of wanted to add a little bit of flair and different lines and holes. Like the KTMs have holes in there to make it lighter and durable and airflow to the engine. So that's what I designed for mine. So it's now on my website. You can see pictures, and guys are liking it because they think it's priced right.
Yeah, the bash plate especially. I looked at that myself, and I thought that is really a nice looking, nice quality. And that's what I mean by nice looking. It looks sturdy. It looks well designed, well made. It obviously fits the bike, and that price is a really good price.
Well, thank you for that. I'll tell you one thing. What's great about that skid plate is that it's side mount in the original OEM mounts right there, so you just bolt it right in, and it stays off the rails to avoid vibration noise, and it's a nice mounting point there.
Now, what about do you have any future products you're working on now, or you've thought of? Or?
I sure do, Pat. My mind's always reeling.
You want to share anything, or are you going to keep secrets for a while?
Actually, yeah. I'm looking to get into some tool things, and also one I have to keep secret right now because there's nothing like it out there, and I'm going to try to beat everyone to the punch.
Well, we won't tell anybody. We'll tell nobody if you want. We'll keep it just between us.
Yeah. Us and the 49,000 other people listening.
Well,
Nicole, what you need to do, though, the secret one, when you get really ready to do it, drop me an email. We'll get you on the show, even for a short 10, 15-minute segment just to talk about it.
Well, thank you so much, Pat and Tom. I'm looking forward to using this prototype on the Mexico trip. So I'm under the gun to get it done before then, and it's going to be exciting. So.
Okay, good. What about any other platforms? Have you looked at anything like for a KLR or anything else, or are you kind of sticking with the DRZ right now?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to take the rack across the board. I've had a lot of interest from other bike riders. They're asking. I think I'm going to get into the DR-650 next and the KTM 990 after that. I have to make prototypes for each bike. So
yeah, the DR-650 is an extremely popular bike, so I think you would do well on that platform.
Great. I love that.
Okay, well, I think we're coming to the end of the segment. I hope everyone's enjoyed the show tonight. And
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
I have a question from the chat room. The pawnbroker asks, do you have a background in design?
You know, it's funny, Tom. I have an engineer's mind. I went to UCSB in California and studied communication studies with an English minor, and then I was in the entertainment industry following my path to directing. But I've always, when I've gotten products, I've always redesigned them in my mind. So I probably should have taken engineering in school. I would have enjoyed it.
So you have the mind, you just don't have the training.
That's exactly right. But, you know, on-the-job training is just as good in my books.
Well, you've done well with the products that you've got on that website.
The one thing, you may not have the training, but the one thing you did learn in school and college, and I think the one thing that I got out of my college, my 5 years of college, and I'm halfway through my sophomore year, is I learned how to use my resources.
That's exactly right.
I'm very, very good about using resources. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I do know where to go to get the answers. Exactly
right. When you surround yourself with quality people with talent, there you go. You get something.
Well, I know how to do that. Just ask everybody that listens to this show.
Again, Nicole, I want to thank you, and I want to encourage the listeners to check out the ride reports on ADV, and see the scenery that she's captured with her camera. Visit her website. There's a lot of information, and Nicole, definitely keep us in mind. Get in touch with me when you got a new product to introduce. You know, as I say, we don't have to do a full segment. We'll get you on just to introduce that, and I probably will want to talk to you about your Mexico trip later.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and everyone out there, just get out there and do it.
You're welcome back anytime, and live to ride another day.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Good night, Nicole.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night, Nicole.
Bye-bye.
Pat, I'm going to tell you what. You bore me month after month after month. I don't know what I'm going to do with you, man.
Hey, I'll tell you, there's some good people out there, Tom. That's all I can tell you.
Well, you get it. You know how to get them on. I'll tell you that much. She's an exciting person. The website's awesome. Beautiful woman. Website's awesome. Her passion for the sport is incredible. And I like having those people on. That's what I noticed
in her ride reports, Tom. And then in conversations her and I had over email, setting this up, was the passion she has for riders and the ride and the people, and it's what we all are. It's what we all do it for. So it was a pleasure to have her, and hopefully we can get some more guests like her, and I'm sure we'll have her back with her Mexico trip if everybody enjoyed her. Anyway, good night, Tom, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, Pat, take it easy.